سألت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وسأل رجل رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. The hadith in 9 collection, Imam Tirmidhi. It's a miscellaneous hadith that I'm going to narrate for you, and I'm going to choose. I don't want to go by a theme for the next few weeks. I just want to go by miscellaneous narrations that I recited at one point in my life, or read, and it stuck with me, and I found to be meaningful. I'm going to share them with you just for the sake of listening to what the Prophet ﷺ said in different situations. In this hadith, Abdullah bin Busr tells us that he heard a man. There's one narration where he says he asked the question, another one where he says a man did it, and I think Imam Tirmidhi is what he said a man, but I'm unsure. I'm uncertain. قال سأل رجل رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فقال يا رسول الله كثرت علي شرائع الإسلام فأخبرني بشيء أو دلني على شيء أتشبث به. He said, Ya Rasulullah, too many shara'i in Islam. Like he was a simple man who was asking the question. Someone maybe not highly educated, maybe doesn't have a lot of capacity to, doesn't have a big capacity to memorize a lot of the commands and details and doing. So he's like, mashallah, there's a lot of knowledge in your deen, Ya Rasulullah, and it's beautiful, but it's too much for me. كثرت علي. I feel there's too much. I'm burdened by the numbers. فدلني على شيء أتشبث به. Give me something to hold on to that will get me through if I miss other stuff. What he's trying to say is that mashallah is beautiful, a lot of knowledge, a lot to learn. I don't have the capacity to remember all this stuff. Can you give me something I can hold on to that if I hold on to and I forget other things, I'm not, I'll make it. Just, you understand? This is what he's asking for. I know I'm going to make mistakes. I don't think I can do all this correctly. Can you give me just one thing that I can really hold on to and hopefully it'll save me? So this is a really, in my opinion, is a beautiful question to ask, and even an important one, because many of us may struggle with this. So the Prophet, فَقَالَ النَّبِيُّ صَلَى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وسلم, this is what he said. Now, this is the wording, memorize the wording, it's a short hadith. You don't قَالَ يَا هَذَا لَا يَزَالُ لِسَانُكَ رَطْبًا بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ. So I said, لَا يَزَالُ لِسَانُكَ رَطْبًا بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ. May your tongue continuously be in the state of moisture through the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is what he said. I'm translating it word for word. It's a simile where he is, alayhi salam, assuming or suggesting that the tongue, when it's not remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is in a state of dryness, right? When the tongue is moving, it stays moist. If it stops moving, it turns dry. So he said, keep it moist through the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I mean, always, or through the invocation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or through the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just as long as you're always talking of Him, you're always speaking of Him, you're always remembering Him, you're invocating Him, you're calling upon Him, you're supplicating Him, you're reciting His book, then you'll be safe. Just make sure that you never stop doing that throughout your life. And that is the fadl of dhikr, obviously. That is the significance of his invocation and invocating Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But dhikr is more than that. It's just any form of, that He's always there. He's present with you. So when you speak, you don't go on for a long time without Allah's name coming into the conversation, or His word, or His teachings, or His ummah, or whatever it is that reminds you of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's there. You don't drift far away from it, even if you're making mistakes, but He's always present subhanahu wa ta'ala. So your tongue is always moist. It never goes long enough for it to turn dry. And that's the example he's giving, alayhi salatu wasalam, in this very beautiful, min jawami al-kalim, this hadith. Min jawami al-kalim, meaning with just one sentence, I could take maybe half an hour breaking down the different ways you can understand this hadith and how you can use it. But I think the basic message is understood, and I think it's a nice reminder for myself and for all of us. يروي الإمام الترمذي في جامعه بسند صحيح عبد الله بن بسر رضي الله عنه قال سأل رجل رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فقال يا رسول الله كثرت علي شرائع الإسلام فدلني على شيء أتشبث به فقال عليه الصلاة والسلام لا يزال